Good afternoon. You're with The Pulse. The Department of Mineral Resources and Energy has revealed it made an error in the official fuel price adjustment for November. The price of petrol went up by 81 cents a litre from midnight last night. The department now says that this was overstated by 6 cents. The new price increase should have been 75 cents instead of 81 cents. Prices are affected by two main components, the rand-dollar exchange rate and changes to international petroleum product costs, primarily driven by oil prices. The AA says petrol price increases and taxes and levies on fuel need to be investigated urgently. Leighton Beard's the spokesperson for the AA. He joins us now. Leighton, good afternoon to you. 6 cents, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually can be. Is there a good way for the department to fix this mistake?
I think that's a question the department should answer, but I think fuel retailers may be in a position where customers come to them and ask them for refunds if they can prove they got that fuel. How this is all going to work, Stephen, I don't know. I think we're in uncharted territory here. I think the concern for us more than the 6 cents is the fact that a mistake was made in the first place.
Well, I mean, in a way, this is the kind of mistake that can't be made because of how difficult it is to fix.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, when you look at the fuel price and the announcements and the processes that go into it, you'd imagine that the announcement and the adjustment go through many hands before it's actually made public. You know, in the absence of the daily fuel updates, which the department is now withholding since about October, we were unable to track the fuel price on a daily basis, and we only get the final adjustment when it's released. So I think that, you know, in your intro you said we've been calling for a review, and we stand by that. Since March, when we appeared before Parliament asking for a review of the fuel price, I think incidents such as this just underscores again the urgent need for a review of all the processes that go into the compilation of the fuel price and all the components that are part of the fuel price.
You made a comment about how the daily fuel price estimates are no longer published. What's happening there?
Well, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy has not been publishing these for, you know, as I said, a couple of weeks. They have, inter alia, accused the Automobile Association of making the announcements before the minister, which obviously has not been the case in the decade that we've been doing our fuel price commentaries. The net result of that is that the daily updates that were published on the Central Energy Fund website and through daily emails are no longer being received by the AA, and our view is no longer being received by the public of South Africa, the biggest stakeholder in the fuel process, in the fuel value chain. And it is quite disheartening for us, and we would certainly like to see a reversal of that situation. But be that as it may, we don't know what the daily figures are. So when we see the final adjustment at the end of the month, we see it as you know, when everybody else does. And I think that part of the reason why we're calling for a review is because we think the process needs to be a lot more transparent than what it currently is, specifically for the major stakeholder in the fuel price, which is the citizens of South Africa.
There are many questions to ask about this. I mean, the first one is, how could it happen? How is it that, and it was the re-inclusion of an amount of an increase for petrol pump attendants, which had already been included in September. So was no one who worked on this data in September involved in working on this data now? Did they just forget? But then also, and this might even be more revealing, Leighton, I don't know if you know the answer to this, how did the mistake come to light? Was it someone inside the department who looked at it again and said, hold on, we've made a mistake here? Or was it someone outside the department who, I don't know, phoned up the minister or the director general and said, hold on, this is a problem?
Yeah, I don't know how that, first of all, I don't know how that error crept into that system. And secondly, I don't know how that error was discovered. Thankfully, it was discovered, and credit to the department that they made a very speedy announcement about that. I think the point still stands that any error, I think, casts a pall over all the calculations within the fuel price, and I think that's exactly the reason why we're saying let's review the thing.
So, I mean, trust is really important. We need to know how things are being done. A mistake like this,
yes,
particularly when when decisions are now made in a less transparent way, when information which was being published is no longer being published, when that's removed, I mean, trust can be broken, especially when you have mistakes like this.
I think there is a huge trust deficit, Stephen, and I completely agree with that sentiment of yours. You know, in the past, we used to get these on a daily basis. We could monitor how these things were going to play out over a period of a month. You know, if you got an update in the middle of the month that said the price was going up or down by 50 cents, and at the end of the month it was going up by around 50, there was some there was some way you could monitor that progress over a period of time. But certainly, I think that there is a trust problem, and this error that has now crept in is certainly not helping the situation. Again, we would like to see a review of the fuel price. It's not for us. We don't want to do it for the benefit of the AA. We are championing the cause of consumers, and we think consumers are owed this. And we think consumers should be entitled to understand exactly how this thing is put together. And if at all, are there any components of that fuel price that we could look at to mitigate against the rising costs? I think this is a discussion and a debate and a conversation that needs to happen urgently. And again, what happened today, I think just completely underscores that and points to the need for this to happen sooner rather than later.
Leighton Beard, spokesperson at the Automobile Association. Really appreciate the time. Thanks very much indeed.